computer. It started. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Arash Farhadi. Today, with our friends, we are gonna talk about Zoroaster's Gathas. As we know, Zoroaster in Avestan language is called Zarathustra, and I think this is very important. The name of Zoroaster, for me, is very important. I tell you why. Because I believe that in ancient times, there are a lot of evidence that show in ancient times, people had different names. For example, when they were born, they had a name. They were calling them, for example, I don't know, cute or tall or black hair or something. I mean, in order just to remember them, not to confuse them with each other, because usually there were lots of babies and children. And when they were growing, they were showing who they are, their character. And based on that, based on their character, behavior, and words, basically thought, words, and deeds, they were getting another name. And they had this name, let's say, from the age of 8, 10, and until, let's call this a second name. I mean, there could be a second name if their character and words and behavior was a little bit different than the first preliminary name. They were getting a second name, and then when they were growing, like at the age of 15, or even maybe a bit later, 20 something or later, when they were doing great things in life. For example, if they were becoming a master in one of the crafts, for example, a craftsman, or a poet or singer, or anything like that, based on their profession and skills, they were getting a title or epithet, for they say, I think, in English. And that one was the one that they were always remembered for. And the name that you see, for example, somebody's name is Cyrus, for example, Cyrus the Great, or Zoroaster. I use the Greek pronunciation of his name, so it's more universal. And when do you say Zarathustra, maybe someone says, oh, what do you mean? Who are you talking about? And actually, even Friedrich Nietzsche, in a German philosopher, he actually used the original pronunciation, Zarathustra, and in English even right, thus spoke Zarathustra. And it's a great book by Nietzsche, and it is different. The way that Nietzsche was looking at Zoroaster was different than Zoroaster's Gathas. So their teachings and philosophy, they have some connections and some similarities, and a lot of differences as well. The Dr. Khosrow Khazai, who translated Gathas into Persian, I think he has an English translation too. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have to check. But for sure, he has a Persian translation. He believes that Nietzsche was not much different than Zoroaster. And Khosrow Khazai believes that Nietzsche is a kind of extension of, Nietzsche's philosophy is an extension of Zarathustra's teachings and philosophy. And it is important. I kind of agree with Khosrow Khazai, but obviously we can find differences as well. So when we go and read the Gathas, we are going to see what connections or similarities it may have with other philosophies. because you know, the realm of thought and philosophy is very vast, and it can a seed that you sow, I think in English they say, a seed that you put in the ground and you sow, so it can grow somewhere else. And even Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, is believed to have borrowed a lot of things from Zarathustra's teachings. And who is this Zarathustra? As I said, like what his name means. There are some translations for his name. Zara, which we were talking to Zoroaster, it is the same root as Zoroaster. Zara or Zoroaster means the old one, the original one, the eternal one. And this oldness, this concept of oldness is very important. It means that yeah, one is in age. Somebody has for example, is like 70 years old, 100 years old, so you know, that's one aspect of it. The other is the one who knows a lot. For example, in Persian language, we have some sayings. For example, let me bring one from Shahnameh, the Persian book of Kings, written by Ferdowsi. In Shahnameh, we have a verse. It says, تو این گفته های من اندر پذیر جوانم ولیکن به اندیشه پیر. It means that it is said by a Persian knight named Bijan. Bijan says, I am young, but in my mind I am old. So it means that I'm mature. So it means the mature one, the wise one, when we call someone old. And this concept of oldness, it goes a lot in like spirituality, Mithraism. In Mithraism, we have 7 ranks, and the 7th rank is the rank of a peer, or the old one, or the presbytery, for example, the one who knows a lot and is the representative of God or Mithra on earth. And so Zara is old, means old, or golden, or yellow. So all these meanings have. Ushtra or Zarathustra or Zarathustra. This Ushtra, one translation says it means camel. Another translation says it means star. Are you asking something, Dana? Okay. So it means that in total, at the end, Zoroaster means the old camel, or the owner of old camel. And the other translation you can translate as the old star, ancient star, eternal star, or a star worshipper. Diogenes, another Greek philosopher, said that Zoroaster means star worshipper. So worshipping a star or stars, it doesn't mean that he worships the stars. It means that the one who studies the stars. So an astronomer, someone who does astronomy, knows stars, sky, weather. They could do weather forecast in ancient times, the Magi. And the word magus is important too. When I say Magi, magus has the same root as the word mega in English. When you say mega, means big, huge. Magus means the big one, the one who, the wise one. It has that meaning to the wise one, or the one who practices or performs religious rituals. It has all those meanings. And magic, the word magic comes from magus. Zarathustra was a magus, and that's how he introduces himself in Gathas. Yeah, and he says, it's a beautiful verse I like. He says that he asks Ahura Mazda to actually make the Magi community to accept him, to accept his teachings and his words and philosophy, you can say. This is important as well. So who were these Magi, the Magi order of the Magi? Who were they, what they were saying, and how Zoroaster's teachings might have been different than what they were saying? It is interesting. So it means that Zoroaster had found something new, something a novel thing he had found, and he wanted to kind of do some reformations. We can say that he wanted to do some reformations or advancements, or to make some progress in the order of Magi. And this is very important. I just brought it up, and then so okay, Zoroaster, as I said, means the owner of the old camel, or old camel, because it's like native people's names. You know that. For example, the one who runs with dogs, or the fast horse, for example. You know. And at our time, it might seem a little bit strange when you call someone, for example, an old dog or old camel or old horse, you know, or fast horse. But in ancient times, it was actually a valuable thing. And when we were saying to someone, it means that you were attributing an important aspect of an animal to a person. And it comes from totemism as well. You know, we had a time that totemism and animism are the oldest religions on earth. So what is animism? You know, the word animation, anime, animated, all comes from that. It means that you believe that things have souls. They are alive. A tree, a mountain, a river, they have all, or a plant or animal. So they are all alive. And it is interesting in animism, which is very delicate. What is important? In the beginning, for early humans, like for Neanderthals even, because Neanderthals go back to even before 100,000 years ago. Like 150,000 years ago, they found a site in a cave. So even Neanderthals, they created some decoration, you know, with the stones and something. 150,000 years ago, can you believe that? So after Neanderthals, around the time of, oh, just 1 second. I hope this doesn't run out of battery. Just a second. Why this happens? Just 1 second. Huh. It looks like it fixed. Hopefully, we don't run out of battery. Actually, yeah. Let me see the. Yeah, hopefully we have power here. animism. Early humans, between 200 to 100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens came into existence, and gradually they became sapiens. With that, who we are. We are sapiens. Sapiens, you know, means the one who is thinking, the thinking animal or thinking human. Homo sapiens. This homo, you know, means human. And these Homo sapiens, basically, okay, Neanderthals and sapiens, they both had some kind of animistic beliefs. So they believe everything has a soul. Like everything, I mean, if there is a tree here and there is another tree like 2 meters, you know, with 2 meters distance, they had different souls. But gradually, it developed into the concept that all trees have one soul. So this is important because we see in Gathas chapter like 29, or the second song, you see the soul of universe, soul of earth. You know, that's the development of that thought in human history. And animals had, as I said, animals, for example, if you had a lion here and a lion there, so they had different souls, but at the end, all lions had one soul. And for example, all camels had one soul, another soul, a different soul. All ducks had another soul, you know, gradually. But at the end, we had the soul of animals. And the soul of ox, or the ox in chapter 29, or second song of Gathas, in there you see the ox, or the soul of ox, or the soul of universe, but it represents the whole universe, at the same time represents the soul of living beings, animals, plants, and humans. This is important, because sometimes in translations in Persian, English, they translate it into cow or ox. And they just kind of, they reduce the meaning. They reduce the depth of thoughts that is there. So what I'm trying to understand and share with you is that it is way deeper than it looks like. So yeah, we talked about Zoroaster's name. We talked about a little bit about the background, and yeah, I was going to, yeah, I talked about animism, and animism kind of develops into okay, I think we run out. We click on the same link again. We can come back. And East animism develops into totemism. Totemism is important. That's where it is important. When you say the owner of an old camel, or the old camel to Zoroaster, or the oldest star, whatever. So these, particularly the animal one, is a remaining of a totemism. In totemism, people believe that they come from an animal ancestry. So different tribes had different totems. For example, one tribe believed that they come from a camel, the first camel, you know. Another tribe believed that they've come from a sheep or from an eagle. So we had these different totems. In Persian Book of Kings, Shahnameh, every tribe comes from with an animal flag that represents that represents their totem. We have different ones like elephant, lion, wolf, and different animals. That totemism leads to the one we were discussing, that sometimes even in native peoples, like in North America, look, they had an animal name too. For example, the flying eagle, for example, or running rabbit. You know, if it is all conditional. If Zoroaster meant old camel or the owner of old camel, that's what it means, or that's what its background is. But if it meant the old star or the shining star or the golden star, so it has another meaning. And it is possible to have had both meanings. It's not that it meant only one. For example, even Dana, it means in Persian, for example, it means wise. It means, for example, it has a root with the conscience, da'na or wajdan, and Dana, means wise, or the one who knows a lot, you know, and we have some names that have different meanings. We can, take both meanings. So that's where we are. If you have a question so far, I'm not sure how much we have. It doesn't show here. Like we have 1 minute, 5 minutes. If you have a comment or question, please go ahead until we come back again with the same link.
I was actually wondering, because in the Bible they say that the Magi, the three kings, were actually the three Magi, but why was it changed to kings? Could the Magi have a different meaning, or?
Yeah, very interesting question. In original Greek Bible, it says three Magi. Yeah. At the King James translation, I think since the time of King James translation, if I'm not wrong, which was about 500 years ago or so, in that translation, from that translation forward, they use three kings. Mm-hmm. It has a, we have 5 minutes. I see here. I'm not sure if you see as well. Do you see?
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, yeah, it was so small I couldn't see. Actually, it was three Magi in the beginning in original Greek, and why? Because they follow the star that tells them that Jesus is gonna be born. But it's like, who is Jesus? It is interesting. Jesus in the Bibles that we have now is the King of Jews, the prophet or king among King of Jews, or the Son of God, and all this theology that you have heard about. And but in that story, it is trying to say that Jesus is a Magi too, a Magus. Sorry, it's trying to say he's a Magus too. So how? It comes from Mithraism, because Mithras, in English they say Mithras, but there's an S there. And it has actually an interesting story, because we have Mithras in the middle in the Mithraic paintings and the statues. We have two people beside Mithras, so we have like three Mithras. So it's interesting. You have three Magi here. So when they say Mithras, means three Magi. And these three Magi go to Bethlehem to see hey, Jesus is gonna be born, and declared that prophecy, for example. And I was saying, like Jesus in the beginning was not a pure. It's a myth, basically. It's a myth. Yeah, I know that my video is breaking up, I think, but I hope that you hear me properly.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah. In short, Christianity in the beginning was a Mitraic concept, but it developed and kind of switched to a kind of Jewish religion, you know?
Okay.
And it goes back to ancient Gnosticism. Gnosticism was ancient spiritual order. Like you had a lot of that in Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Rome, all around the world. You had that. Yeah, I'm worried for my video as well. It's just breaking, and then distracts me too. So maybe I don't move a lot. Actually, yeah, basically there were three magi. They were star worshippers or astronomers, and that's why they predicted or kind of prophesied, that Jesus is gonna be born, and when Jesus is born, so Jews and all the world, look, based on the Jewish actually narrative, Jews are gonna be saved, and based on the Gnostic Magi narrative, all the world is gonna be saved for the time, for that time, because we don't have only one savior in Zoroastrian teachings, in Mitraic teachings, Zoroanic teachings. We don't have one savior for all the time, for all times. So we had different saviors at every age, at each age, and time. So yeah, we have only 1 minute. If you have a comment, go ahead and we come back.
Would the other like religious people also be considered saviors, or no, just like Jesus?
Yeah, it depends on which theology or philosophy we consider. In Jewish, even in Jewish theology, we had different saviors. We don't have only one savior. In Zoroastrianism, is the same. We have different saviors, Sushians. And Zoroaster is a Sushian. Zoroaster calls another person a Sushian. And yeah, I think we are going to run out of time. So we are going to come back and continue.
Okay.
Yeah, same link. See you.
I see you.